Hi everyone, こんにちは、ゆりかです。Today, we're going to talk about kanji. Kanji look very difficult, right? For many learners, this is the point where they want to give up. But here's the secret. Kanji actually have clue. Some kanji come from pictures and some share a part that hints at the meaning. Let's look at example. Kanji related to fire. First, the kanji fire originally comes from a drawing of fire. When you put two of them together, you get flame. And when kanji contains the fire radical, it is often related to fire or heat. Here is a kanji that means charcoal, and here is one that means roast. Both of them are related to fire, and you can see the fire radical inside them. See, there are actually ways to make kanji easier to remember. Before we go into details, let's take a quick look at where kanji come from. Kanji or Chinese characters originally came from China. Many kanji are related to Chinese characters and their original ideas. Some people think kanji and Chinese character are exactly the same, but actually they're not. Some characters are shared, but kanji used in Japan today are not exactly the same as modern Chinese characters. The shapes are sometimes different, and the pronunciation are also different. So even if a Japanese person goes to China, they might not fully understand the meaning or be able to read them perfectly. Now, let's see four main types of kanji. For learning purposes, we usually divide kanji into four main types. First is pictograms. Next is simple ideograms. And third is compound ideograms. And finally, Semasio phonetic characters. Let's look at them one by one. The first type is pictograms. These kanji were originally created from drawings of real objects, just like the fire example we saw earlier. Let's see how pictures slowly turn into kanji. First is mountain. It looks like mountain peaks. Next is tree. Looks like a tree with branches. The last is rain, shows rain falling from clouds. Of course, the shapes have changed over thousands of years, but knowing the original idea makes them easier to remember. Next are simple ideograms. These kanji don't show objects, they show simple ideas. 1, 2, 3, the number of lines increase to show quantity. Up is something above a line. Down is something below a line. Very simple, right? Next is compound ideograms. Compound ideograms are kanji made by combining meanings. Tree plus tree becomes woods, a place with many trees growing together. If there are 3 trees, it becomes forest, an area where trees are dense. This one shows a person leaning against a tree to rest. And the last is man. It reflects the idea of physical work in the fields in ancient times. Understanding the story behind them helps a lot to remember. The next is Semasio phonetic characters. You don't need to memorize this term, but it's important to know that most kanji are made by combining different parts. And most kanji belong to this category. These kanji usually have one part that hints at the meaning, called a radical, and one part that hints at the sound. Knowing radical is very helpful for guessing the meaning of kanji. Let's look at example. The first is plant-related kanji with the grass radical. Look at the top part of the kanji. They are all the same. Leaf, tea, flower, and medicine. Next is water-related kanji. It has a 3 dots water radical on the left side. pond, swim, wave, sea. They all share this part and relate it to water. The rule doesn't always work, but in many cases, knowing the radical gives a clue to the meaning. I hope this helped you see that kanji always contain helpful hints. Now, let's talk about how to read kanji. Most kanji normally have two types of reading, kun reading and on reading. For example, the kanji fire, hi is kun reading and ka in on reading. The kanji river, kawa in kun reading and sen in on reading. Kun reading is native Japanese words existed before kanji. On reading is based on ancient Chinese pronunciation, came with kanji, mainly used in compound words. So how do we know which reading to use? There are some general rules, but many exceptions exist. Don't worry about memorizing, just get a sense of the patterns. The first rule, if the reading alone gives a clear meaning, it's usually kun reading. For example, kawa, you instantly know it means river. Sen only gives a sound. So if you hear sen, you don't know what the meaning is. The second rule, kanji compounds usually use on readings. For example, time in kanji pronounced jikan. Both ji and kan is on reading. And finally, if a kanji has only one main reading, it's often on reading. Eki, station, fuku, clothes, niku, meat. Even if these kanji show meaning, if they have only one main reading, the on reading is dominant. Again, there are a lot of exceptions. Don't worry about memorizing this. It's completely fine if you just think, oh, there are patterns like this. Kanji may look difficult at first, but they are logical and meaningful. If you understand the system, kanji become much easier. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.